Yo, what's going on guys? Mad Zach here, and today I'm going to be checking out the Maschine Jam and exploring some of my favorite features of it. That is this controller right here on my left, this thing with the 64 grid. It's from Native Instruments. It's new. It can do about 1 million different things, but I'm not going to go over every single one of them in this video. I'm just going to focus on a few things that I found really useful and innovative. Alright, so it's super easy to start step sequencing a beat on the Jam. All you gotta do is select the sound that you want to sequence, and you get the, grid of step sequenceable slots, or whatever you call this. And one thing that I really like about the way that the touch strips have been implemented here is that whatever sound you select here and are sequencing, then these will automatically change to focus on that sound, so you get full control. So in this case, I'm controlling the kick and I have easy access to my sustain. This is more of a sub kick. Again, I can pull that sustain up or put it back down. The other thing, of course, swing. Add instant funkiness. I like the swing feel on the machine. It's got a nice shuffle. Another thing I wanted to mention is the accents. So if you hit shift and hit select, you get the accent mode, and you can turn that off. So basically how I use this is so now you have 2 different volumes. Now this is a little bit loud. What a perfect example to show you how you can control the volumes of each sound as well. You just hit level and all that good stuff. You can also control the tune. It does take some getting used to because you have to memorize basically which thing does what. If you're looking at the screen, it helps, but I thought it... Oh, Jesus. Okay, so that is a potential thing that could happen, I guess. I did that on accident. The tiniest little brush and everything went to absolute mayhem mode. So, a little bit dangerous, I'm liking the touch strips. I'm a little wary as well, not gonna lie. Let's mute that sound. Now, one of the things that I thought was actually the coolest thing about the way that Maschine works with the step sequencing and all that is that you can easily record sounds in from, say, your hardware or record or a synth or whatever directly onto a sample slot and sequence it straight away. So in Ableton, you can sort of do this as well, but usually you have to like record it in and then chop it and then drag it in, and it's all these steps. Whereas here you can just, add a tom, for example. So all you have to do for that is you select the sound or the slot rather, that you want to sample into, hit sampling. I'm doing this on the Mark II. You could also, I guess, do it on the computer, but this is one of the things that I thought was strong about working with the 2 units together. So I'll just come over here to record. I've got a, no, one moment, please. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. So we'll just hit start here, play our sound, hit stop. I can easily normalize it real quick. And now, straight away, integrate it into my pattern. It's a little bit loud. Let's try messing with the tune a little bit. try something from a record. So I'll come here to a new slot. So I just grabbed that from a record. Again, I'm gonna normalize it. It's got a nasty buzz because my turntable sucks, but just pretend like that's not there. There, that's better. So let's go to level. I believe this will be on our second page, so I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. And let's go over to our envelope type, make it AD, or AHD. Turn it down a little bit. And maybe throw a delay. Now let's also sidechain that to the kick. So I'll put a compressor on. Getting pretty groovy. I love it. So now I've officially recorded from the 909 from a record. Let's record a bass sound. Shit. Fucking roller chair. New slot. Normalize. And again, I'm gonna hit that on, or I'm gonna change it to AHD from ADSR because I find that works a little bit nicer with the step sequencing. Not only can you, as you can see, quickly step sequence and build a beat, but this provides a super easy way to like capture the essence of your studio and have the similar type of step sequencing jam capabilities that you would with hardware. Up next, we're going to be diving into my favorite feature of the Jam, and that is this concept of snapshots and morphing. So what a snapshot is it's basically a saved snapshot of every parameter in the project, and you can create a bunch of them and basically morph between them. And it's super cool because you can use it to create these dynamic sections within a groove. Let's check it out. So, this is our beat as it is, and I essentially want to create like a tension and release kind of situation. So to create the tension or the anticipation, I'm gonna tighten everything up, make it really like tight and choppy and small, and then in the second snapshot, we'll open it up to create sort of like a drop or release. So I'll hit play here. You're gonna wanna hit shift and hit lock to go into the snapshots thing. And I'm gonna mute a couple things as well. Let's go through the different sounds to tighten up. First, we'll tighten up the kick. We'll tighten up the hi-hat. And I'm gonna take a snapshot just by pressing one of these buttons while I'm in this snapshot mode. Now, I'm gonna go through and open up a few things. So the sustain on the kick, for example. And maybe unmute. We'll save a second snapshot. Wow. Okay, let's go into levels. Bring this little pup down. And save our third snapshot. And you can see already how I'm morphing between them. It's not a hard cut, it sort of morphs into the other thing. Okay, now let's make a fourth one that tightens everything up but keeps the tom and this other sound. So now go in here, save that one, and then we'll make another one where we bring in the bass. So I'm also going to turn this bass sound down a little bit. And bring up the sustain on the kick. And let's change that hi-hat a little bit. Okay, and now to overwrite, in case you have a snapshot that you want to like fix up or change, you just hold lock down, it'll flash, and then you click it. And now I can go. So that is morphing with the snapshots, and this is, I guess, my favorite feature of the Jam. The cool thing about it for me, though, the real game changer, is when you take the snapshots with morphing and apply that to a finger drumming context. Okay, so I've got a classic Mad Zach pack loaded up. It's called Keep the Change. It goes a little something like this. Let's add a couple snapshots and morph between them. I'm going to save the current status just by creating a snapshot of the sound pack right when I load it up. And now I'll go through and actually change a bunch of parameters. Mainly I'm going to mess with tune. So real quick, I'll just bring these harp sounds down 5 steps. Bring this down 12. This down 3. This can go down 7, and this will go down 8. Okay? Now I'll store my second snapshot. Okay, so check it out. Now I'll try to do that in the, while finger drumming. And that's really cool, but the only problem I'm finding with this is that, my hands are busy finger drumming, so how am I supposed to come over here and press the snapshot buttons? And so I actually wound up delving a little bit deeper into that, and I realized sort of the magic of the snapshots gets even more magical. And that's because you can trigger these snapshots with a MIDI controller. So if you look down here, I've actually got a MIDI footboard set up to trigger between the snapshots. And this is awesome because it allows me to keep finger drumming while I morph between different settings. The footboard I'm using is just a Behringer, nothing too special, but it's pretty cool in this situation. So let's try that with the footboard and the finger drumming. And of course you can create as many snapshots as you want, so you could have all kinds of different things happening and morphing between them. One more thing that I wanted to share with you guys before we close out the video is a technique for layering and integrating that layering with the morphing. So the one problem with Maschine and complex layering is that using the hardware, you can only trigger one group at a time, and that means one layer of sounds. However, after delving into this subject a little bit, I realized that if I use a third MIDI controller, for example, the MIDI fighter here, you can indeed trigger all the groups at the same time, which is exactly what I wanted to do. What I would like layering-wise is to bring in a bass line underneath these harp sounds. So, and I basically want to be able to hit a morph point and then fade in a bass line underneath that. So let's open up a new group here. I'll go to that same pad that the harp sound is on. I'm going to go into my sampling thing and play in a bass note. So start. I'll normalize that real quick. And then I'll go to the second slot where the second harp sound is. Also record a bass sound that corresponds with that note. Normalize again. Now I'm using the sub-fatty here for the bass sounds. Makes great bass sounds. Okay, so I want to bring that in underneath that. And now I get to bust out my little contraption, which is made of chopsticks and electrical tape. And I just set this right on top of the pads on the Maschine, and it allows me to put my MIDI fighter right on top there. And now right away, now I definitely need to do some volume adjustment. So I'm gonna go to my group levels here and just bring that bass to a nice level. And I'm gonna store that snapshot. And then in the other snapshot, the one without the bass line, I'll pull that group level all the way down and overwrite that. And now check this out. And now maybe I want to make one more layer where the harps actually go down in volume and it's just that bass line with these little music box sounds. So we'll go back here to group B, which is where the sound pack is. And I am going to bring the harp sounds down and store that on a new snapshot. So now we can go to number 5. So I can do a little bit of a breakdown. So that's the technique for layering and morphing and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much what I got. This is the Maschine Jam. I'm Mad Zach. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you have an awesome day and lots of creativity and that the weather is better where you are than where I am. Have a good one. Peace.